I love the fact that the WWE is pushing the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring as hard as they are, because this tournament feels better than it has done in years. That's the point. Otherwise, why bother mucking around with it in the first place? But we did have this big old video to start SmackDown. That's how I felt in my tum-tum. Also, hello my friends, and welcome to, of course, Ups and Downs for SmackDown, as I do record what I do believe will be my last Ups and Downs from America, from another strange hotel room. So I do appreciate you sticking with me, and if you did come down to the Last Match musical, or you're coming down to the last show in Atlanta tomorrow, know this. I basically love you. Let's up those down. We also saw a bunch of the competitors turning up to the arena, so maybe they were late and maybe they weren't late, I don't know. When my Queen of the Ring predictions went up in smoke. Great. Because I did indeed have Tiffany Stratton as my overall winner, proving that I know nothing because she was taking on Bianca Belair and the EST won. Now I do get when it comes to Bianca Belair, she could win this thing with her eyes closed and that would be totally cool. And I guess in many ways it's very similar to what we did do on Raw with Jey Uso and Ilya Dragunov. I do not know who those two people are, but I like the way their names came out of my mouth. And look, this should always be the way with tournaments. You should have your favorites, but then they should surprise you. I mean, not every time, but it keeps you on your tootsie toes. This is also totally ruled because they absolutely roughed each other up, and not only were they slapping each other around the face, but of course, because Tiffany is a heel, she grabbed at Bianca's braid and tried to pull her around the place. It's not right. This is when we did get some story, which again tied into the tournament format, because Bianca went for a moonsault, and given that she landed on her knee, all of a sudden she was like, oh no, I've got a wound. And as the commentators told us, I'm pretty sure she injured that a few weeks ago. Dun dun dun. Now Stratton actually used the hair again to go after this injury, and that's when you did start getting worried, because if somebody can't walk, how the hell are they going to win a wrestling match? You just can be lying on the floor. And do you know the worst position to be in a wrestling match? Lying on the floor. That's how you get pinned. Tiffany's only mistake is that she tried to throw Bianca into the ring post, so Bianca was like, no, I'm going to do that to you instead. When they got back in the ring and they had a battle over the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up, but nobody can get the better of this. I suppose if Tiffany Stratton was going to win, it would likely have been there. Bianca then reversed a splash into a German suplex, which was excellent, given that Stratton was kind of freaking out at this point. She basically distracted the referee, and do you know what she did? She poked Bianca Belair right in the eye. It was actually a really good tease because it allowed her to go to the top rope to hit the prettiest moonsault ever, but Belair was like, you're not doing that, and she grabbed her on top of Tina the turnbuckle and she gave her the KOD, and she won for the 1, 2, 3, and as I always tell you, if something rhymes, it must be correct. Belair was also interviewed after this and she was like, yes, well, I do have a flubbed up knee, but screw that, because I'm going to become the Queen of the Ring. So once again, this was a really good match, and as I keep on going on about, I love the fact we had a winner and a loser. The whole point now is that WWE creative team should sit down and figure out what to do with Tiffany Stratton so that this does not matter. But it is getting an up, and you should watch it. Amazingly, we were then back to teasing that something may be happening between LA Knight and Logan Paul, because they bumped into each other backstage. Now, recently I said that I still think it will be LA Knight to win that United States Championship, and some dude on social media laughed at me. Well, who's laughing now? I didn't do it. It's me. Now, he did indeed go into Nick Aldis's office when we were having an interview with Jade Cargill. She was like, well, that Nia Jax, she is big and strong, but I'm going to whoop her ass. But then walk Bianca Belair. Now, of course, they were talking about the fact that if Jade is successful later, they could actually face each other in the Queen of the Ring. And I'll level with you, that's why I didn't want it to happen. Eventually, I do want these two people to break up, but not now, it's too soon. At the same time, though, one day I'm going to be dead, so I suppose you could just pull the trigger, which is probably how Paul Heyman feels at the moment. This bloodline not going well for him. Because we were in the back again, and he was all like, oh, hello, bloodline members. Can you please tell me the last time you chatted to Roman Reigns? And as always, Solo Sikoa was like, I chat to him all the time. So he's a stalker. Before all this started too, Tama Tonga was walking around making some very weird noises, but maybe he was just warming up his vocal cords when we actually had a tease for later, because of course, LA Knight was going to be his opponent. He was like, this new bloodline, I think they suck. He also then promised that he will become the King of the Ring, and I'll let you know now he was lying, when Carmelo Hayes walked into the picture and basically told you, yes, in case you're interested what side of the fence I sit on, I am most definitely a heel. So he basically told LA to welcome him to SmackDown. That's when Knight was like, do you remember when Tom Brady was drafted? Who was the #1 pick? Because of course nobody remembers, and everybody remembers Tom Brady. He didn't go #1, but he went on to become an all-time legend. So maybe Carmelo should shut his mouth. I actually think LA Knight told him to go off somewhere and play, which made me laugh. I don't know what that means. The problem is though, he was about to look stupid because he did take on Tama Tonga, and LA Knight lost. Oh no. Now once again, this would explain that interaction with Logan Paul, because that's probably the direction we were going to head. And I tell you, in the early going, LA Knight had Tama Tonga's number. Don't mean he rang him up and ordered a pizza. I'm telling you that he gave him a good old beating. Tonga was able to return fire with a mega clothesline, which is where Tonga Loa and Solo Sikoa were basically casting distraction on the outside. And you have to put your hand up and ask the question, why do people keep allowing them to go to ringside as a unit? They do this all the time. And of course, Tama also used all of this to throw LA into Rita the ring post, who was having a terrible evening. When it did happen, all the fans were chanting for Roman Reigns. So we're actually going to make this work, and when he does come back, woohoo, he's going to get a big old reaction. It must have irked Tama though, because he went for a splash, but LA Knight was able to turn that and throw him into the outside. It's a bit like lie, you don't want to go out there, that's bloodline territory. And I suppose it did actually turn out okay, because he just went and got Tama Tonga's head and slammed it into the ring apron over and over again. And that is the hardest part of the ring, which means he's totally unhinged. He was then going to hit all of his combos as well as the BFT when his brother quite literally saved him from the ring. He dragged him out of there. This is when LA Knight made the biggest mistake. He distracted himself and he dove onto this guy. And you know, as soon as you do that, you forget you're in a wrestling match, especially because he then locked eyes with Solo Sikoa and they had a stare-off. It basically allowed Tama Tonga to take a Phoenix down when he was back in the ring. When LA Knight joined him, he got hit with that facebuster thing that Tama is doing, and he got the 1, 2, 3. So once again, the Bloodline are up to their old tricks, but they're doing it with a new group, which just goes to show they are back on track. I suppose, either way they did win. And look, I did appreciate the fact we tried to protect Knight here, even though I just told you about my thing with tournaments and wins and losses, but this was okay. And when Roman does come back, it's going to be so damn good. Carmelo then thought he'd go backstage and laugh at LA Knight, which was a terrible idea because they did get into it. So we're doing it again. We've teased another feud. We can take many parts. And speaking about doing things like that, we then got to the contract signing between Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul. What a world we are living in. Now, Cody was so popular, I actually laughed out loud because everybody loved this, when he was like, man, look where we are. It's the home of the 1992 War Games, which many people dub the best War Games ever. I was like, Cody, that makes no sense. Why are you talking about this? Now, of course, he did tie in because he was like, I know this because I am a wrestling fan. And do you know who is not a wrestling fan and is just passing through? It's that guy over there, stupid Logan Paul. This is why Cody wants to beat him so he can become a Grand Slam champion. When Logan Paul talked back, he was like, why aren't you signing the deal, man? You're just wasting my time. I think you're scared of me. When he grabbed the contract, he just ripped it up. I was like, Logan, that is literally the complete opposite of signing a deal. Now, this is when I got sad because, of course, Logan was like, I'm not going to sign that because I only want to fight for the WWE title because, Cody, I don't think you've done anything to deserve to fight after my US championship. And he had thought so far ahead about this, he even had his lawyer with him. Nick Aldis, the general manager who was out there, then lost his mind too because he was like, Logan, this is not what we discussed when you were in my office. You are changing the game. Look at my face. I'm not happy about it. In fact, I'm sad. Nick then got right in the lawyer's face as well, and just when they were going to come to blows, Cody was like, listen, Mr. Aldis, you are a great SmackDown GM, but please go to the back, because I need to handle this scrap. This is when Logan Paul went off again saying, man, no one's challenging me for my title because it's my title and it's not your title. Also, look at this piece of paper I have already signed, so maybe you should be a man and sign too. He then threw the thing at Cody Rhodes, which seemed very mean. This is when Rhodes was like, playtime is over, boy, and I'm absolutely going to whip your ass. But he also threw in the line, oh yeah, and your brother Jake Paul is about to be knocked out by Mike Tyson. I appreciate that. He then signed the thing, and man, he went totally nuts because he just attacked anything that moved, including grabbing one of Logan Paul's entourage and powerbomb him through a table. I mean, it is a contract signing, that's how they all end. To get his revenge for earlier too, he grabbed the United States Championship and he threw it right at Logan Paul. So there is your Saudi Arabia match. It's Cody Rhodes versus Logan with only the WWE title on the line. Now look, I did love Cody here and I thought Logan Paul was a wonderful dick as always, and the crowd was so into this, so I did enjoy it. Therefore up. But I do have to give it down to this bait and switch tease. Like, we went all out here to pretend that we were going to do title versus title, even making comments on social media. And if you weren't going to do that, just don't do it, because again, it doesn't make me angry, it makes me sad. And I get it, but Logan Paul is a heel, Simon, that's fine. I'm not mad at Logan Paul, I'm mad at the story. I also don't think this match is as interesting if it is just one championship, because if WWE made Logan Paul the WWE champion right now, that'd be really, really stupid. So yeah, it's not a big deal. It's still quite intriguing on paper, but I'm giving it a down. Kathy Kelly was then interviewing Nia Jax, and she too was like, well, Jade Cargill's really strong, but she also absolutely sucks, so I had to beat her to become the queen of the ring. This was well timed because her music started to play and she went to the ring. And now look, I assumed that we were going to get out of jail here with Jade Cargill because there is no need to do Bianca Belair versus Jade right now, especially from my own vantage point because I'm a big fan of these women tag team championships, but WWE never does anything with them, so I'd actually rather they focused on that instead. At the same time though, I just thought we could have done a bit more here. Like, it only went 2 minutes. I know it wasn't the greatest thing you'd ever seen in your life, but I just think we could have had more faith in these performers. And instead, we kind of got to the finish really, really quick. The absolute best part is that Jade Cargill's daughter was in the crowd outside. And after Nia had done away with Jade, she got in the daughter's face and said, "Your mum sucks. I don't like her. You could say whatever you like about Nia Jax. I think she's a terrific heel." She also then lost her temper then. She was going to hit Jade Cargill with a chair, but Cargill forgot where she was and she grabbed the weapon and she hit Nia Jax. And I'm pretty sure she did just hit her. That was super stiff, but of course you cannot do that. The referee saw it and he went, "Sorry, Jade, I've got to DQ you." I just thought it was a bit late. And even the crowd chanted bullshit at this, which kind of sums it up. And again, have more confidence in your performers. I think we could a little bit more. And once again, this is one of those winner-loser things. Just let someone get the W and the L, then figure it out afterwards. So look, it wasn't to my personal tastes. I hope we get a round 2 where we do elongate it a little bit. Down. When it was DIY versus Legado del Fantasma. What? Now, given that Grayson Waller and Austin Theory were on commentary here, we were basically setting up a #1 contender. Look at it this way. DIY need more wins. When it comes to the Legado del Fantasma, WWE doesn't care if they do lose. Put your hands together. I think Tommaso Ciampa really wanted to impress the tag team champions as well, because he took Angel and Berto, and at one point, he was beating them both up. Johnny Gargano was in the corner looking like a lemon when he got in the ring, and we got double dives. Thank goodness for that. Even though they had just worked together though, that gave Angel and Berto a great idea, so they held Tommaso Ciampa's foot on the top rope, meaning he wasn't able to get away, when we even got a Garza special for a 1-2. I was like, I was never going to win this match, it would have been dumb. Now, to be fair, I wasn't totally sure who was going to get the victory here, because you could have gone either way, when these two got into a suplex battle, and Ciampa won. Good for him. It also allowed Johnny Gargano to warm his hand up, so he did get the hot tag. He did that wonderful slingshot spear that he enjoys doing. I think that's a pretty good move. He looks like a rocket. When Elektra Lopez grabbed at his leg, well, we got even more distractions. And at first I was like, I tell you, this better backfire. Otherwise, this episode of SmackDown is out of control, especially given all the King of the Ring stuff, but thankfully it was okay. Because the referee saw this and he said to all these idiots, including Santos Escobar, "You're gonna have to go to the back now." When DIY did regroup, they hit the meat in the middle, and they got the 1-2-3. So now I guess that given that the pay-per-view premium live event is around the corner, you can do that tag team match. And I tell you, they may even change the belts, because as much as I like Waller and Theory, at the moment we're not really doing anything with them. But I am going to give it an up. Entertaining match. Corey Graves and Wade Barrett then really talked about all the QR codes we've been getting over the last few months. So if I were a betting man, which I am and I lose all the time, just for your information, I would presume we're about to get the proper debut of this group. Watch this space. We then cut to the back when AJ Styles was there, and he was asked, "What's next, AJ Styles?" I was like, well, that's a very good question. Maybe I'll go talk to Nick Aldis next week. It's like, what are you waiting 7 days for, AJ? That is not normal. In fact, it's abnormal behavior. Bailey was also having a quick chat too when Piper Niven and Chelsea Green walked in, and Chelsea was like, "Hey, Bells, do you want to know why Piper lost last week? It was because of you." Now, Bailey basically laughed this off, and then she pulled on AJ Styles. She said, "Why don't we chat in the ring in 7 days' time? Because apparently no one can do anything now." But look, Chelsea Green versus Bailey could be so damn fun and so damn entertaining, especially as a TV feud. I'm actually quite excited about it. When we got to our main event, which was a King of the Ring match, Randy Orton versus Carmelo Hayes, this one got me. Because yes, look, I know I'm an idiot, I'm a moron, I'm a goober, somebody kicked me out the window. But I kind of had this thought where I was like, well, maybe Carmelo Hayes could win, even though Randy hasn't lost since he returned to the Survivor Series, but I've seen stranger things. Hayes must have thought the same too, because he went up to Orton and he just slapped him around the face. And even I was like, Carmelo, you absolutely shouldn't have done that. And Randy grabbed him, and I tell you, he threw him around the place. When they forward to the outside too, Hayes thought it'd be a great idea to try and get out of the way of being thrown into Ali the announce table. So of course Randy was like, well, now you're stealing my stuff, kid. He did it once, he did it twice. And when the fans went, hey Randy, we'd like you to do it one more time, guess what happened? And we then cut to the commercial, and when we came back, Randy Orton was having his leg worked on by Carmelo Hayes. Now I admit my feed went a little bit weird here, so maybe I missed something, but no one told me what happened, so we'll have to make it up for ourselves. And I'm going to presume Carmelo just said, hey Randy, you do know a human male can't be a snake, he can't be a viper, and Orton was so mad about this he forgot what he was doing. That's when Hayes took over. That'll do. It's actually a really good strategy as well because Randy Orton is a tool man, so even when he was able to get back into this, do you know why he wasn't able to capitalize? Because he fell on the floor, his walking device wasn't working. We then got into a really good back and forth when we got the snap power slam as well as the first 48, which got a 1-2, but I was a bit like, come on man, that move's like a signature, ain't beating no Randy Orton. He did go for nothing but net, but that ended up in a draping DDT, and when Randy went for the RKO, Carmelo turned it into the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up. Randy kicked out, and that's when I knew if you were going to do it, it would have been there. We had the absolute best follow-up, though, because Carmelo Hayes remembered, well, I'm a flippy-dippy-doo-dah guy, and he went for a springboard, but man, Randy caught him with the RKO, and this was smoother than my bald head. Orton got the 1-2-3, and I thought this was another fun old time. Orton was going to say something on the microphone afterwards, too, when out came the bloodline. Randy was like, this ain't my first rodeo, kids. Are you trying to intimidate me? Also, Tama Tonga, I do have to face you next week, and I'm going to stick my foot up your ass. I was like, man, I hope he doesn't mean literally. I don't want to see that. I thought it was PG. I also think if my bracketing is right, this could end with Randy Orton versus Gunther in the final, and I'd love to see that match. But there are also other variations which I do think are intriguing. So look, this is going to get an up, because not only was it a good main event, but the King and Queen of the Ring, well, they are just great. That's why when it comes to SmackDown overall, stick your finger in the air. Now, of course, please also do like the video, share the video, and subscribe, and click the video on the screen, which is Ups and Downs for Dynamite, because you can then cover all the professional wrestling with me. And again, this is my last hotel room Ups and Downs for the foreseeable future. So thanks for sticking with me. I know it's been a bit weird, but the green screen will be back next week. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. It's definitely a green thing. Shouldn't have said that. Goodbye.